mentors to so many of us in the theater, and they made me a theater person. So I did a couple musicals and a couple comedies with them at Lake Central. Then went to ISU and studied theater there, and loved it. And then I went to New York, and later I went to graduate school and did an MFA in acting at Arizona State and an MFA in playwriting at University of Iowa. And when I got through with those MFAs, I wanted to create something of my own, to be more in charge of my performance life. And it was around Occupy Wall Street time. It was around 2010, 2011. I became kind of politicized, really 9/11 in a way politicized me.
Absolutely.
I began, to care very much who our president was. And before that, I hadn't really engaged. But once I was engaged, I wanted to do something with it. And so I visited Occupy Wall Street at Zuccotti Park down in Lower Manhattan, and saw those people there, and I started doing this Woody Guthrie, a little snatch of Woody Guthrie songs, because Woody, I discovered, I read Bound for Glory, his autobiography, and Woody Guthrie, A Life by Joe Klein, a biography, a great book, and realized that we need Woody now. We need Woody's lyrics and thoughts and ideas about income inequality, fair labor, a living wage, those kind of things. I realized that Woody was still singing about what we still have a
really
problem
relevant.
with. Yeah, so I began creating a solo show about Woody. I found the songs that I thought were essential to a Woody Guthrie show, and kind of found a way to bridge those songs with snatches from his autobiography, and created a setting, which is a union meeting of striking mine workers who are on the verge of relenting to the bosses because of vigilante violence. The bosses have started to shoot people on the picket line in this fictional story.
Right.
But this really did happen.
Sure.
But so Woody is there at this union meeting of mine workers in Oklahoma, where he grew up. So he's coming kind of back home. He's been in New York, and he's coming back home to help the people that he grew up with, and to encourage them to stick with it, to stick with the strike. And he does a concert for them. There's about 15 songs of Woody's, and I borrowed from Grapes of Wrath, Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath. One of the reasons I wanted to do Woody was that I did a production of Mice and Men a couple of times, Steinbeck. And Steinbeck is so fun to say, the vernacular, the way people express themselves. So I really having done that and felt what it felt like in your mouth to say Steinbeck, I noticed that Woody was the same way. Woody's autobiography is very Steinbeckian in his vernacular. So it was fun to say. I found little pieces, and it's been developing, of course. It started in 2011 at the New York International Fringe Festival. That was the first production. It had no projections at that point, but later, once I realized that the show was good, but I wanted it to be a little bigger so I could travel with it, so I could do performing arts centers around the country. And more than just me at a mic, I needed some visuals. And I discovered that Woody was a drawer. He was a painter and a drawer. And I thought, what a great way to give the audience something to look at while I'm singing his songs. And Woody did draw, even in Bound for Glory, his autobiography, they asked him to make little pencil drawings that depicted certain scenes in his life story. So I used those, and he has a book called Woody Guthrie Artworks that I used to access lots of paintings and drawings from his life. And so that was added like a year after. I've done the Woody show for Paul and Angie a couple years ago.
October 2012.
Without projections. But now I'm bringing it back, really bringing it home. I had a high school reunion a couple days ago. 40th.
I was a co-class sponsor.
Oh, good for you.
So we thought it would be a good time to bring that. After Woody became successful in touring, I thought it's time to make another show, and so Pete Seeger was a natural companion piece to Woody.
Absolutely.
They were friends, and Pete is extremely relevant. He only died a couple years ago. And as I started writing it, I didn't really realize how much it would apply to us now. It becomes more and more relevant. Black Lives Matter. Pete was a big civil rights activist. And so activism has been kind of the underpinning core to everything I'm doing. I wanted to do something that lets me mouth off politically, I guess, without it being me.
Right.
I mean, I let Pete and Woody take the blame or take the praise or the complaints, and use their voices to say what I want to say about America. And really, both shows, the essence of them is participation. Is let's all be aware. Voter participation is terrible now.
Yes,
It's
it
like
is.
under 50%, I think. So both shows are about community. The union idea is we need all of you. We need everybody to participate in order to make this thing work. If we're going to fight against big corporations, we're going to have to organize and be the giant. If poor people all got together, they'd have a giant voice.
Absolutely.
So if they just stick together, so unionism, and with Pete, Pete was all about sing along. Both shows the audience is encouraged to sing along. There's no fourth wall in my shows. I'm always talking right to the audience, and I characterize you as the audience. With Woody, you're mine workers who are striking, and with Pete, it's I said it at a benefit for U.S.-Cuban normalization. What they want is to end the U.S. trade embargo. That's still a problem now. And that became a metaphor for Pete, because Pete was ostracized and blacklisted for for dabbling in communism. He was like many people, the Hollywood 10. They were open to the ideas of communism, in the ideas like anti-Jim Crow legislation and unions. The communists were for those things, and before Stalin turned it all wrong, it was a beautiful idea. And that's where Pete listened to those ideas until Stalin changed his mind and he left the party. But he was blacklisted, and they wouldn't let him work. And so that's sort of like a trade embargo. They refused, the blacklist is sort of a trade embargo. So I thought that would give me an excuse. If I said it there, I'd have an excuse to talk about Pete's life with communism, and or his dabbling with it. And that allowed me to, because Pete wouldn't talk about that at a regular, if it was an Earth Day concert, he wouldn't bring that up. But since he's talking to people who are about helping the Cubans, who are still communist, then that would allow me to talk about that part of Pete's life. So the same thing with Pete. I found his greatest songs, the songs that you couldn't really do a show about Pete Seeger without doing,
Right.
and found text that would lead me to each song and to talk about his family. And so those shows have been touring for a couple of years, both of them. And I'm very proud to bring it back home, where everything started with Paul and Angie.
Well, I know we're very excited about it. I know I'm going to be there tomorrow night, and I'm so excited that I get to go spend some time with Paul and Angie and hear you perform and see some of my friends. And oh yes, eat
There's
their
slaw.
slaw and their chicken. Yes,
It's just a buffet though, it's not the 3 entrees.
that's okay.
And it's,
If there's
it's
chicken
enough.
there and there's slaw,
There's
I'm
slaw.
good. I'm
That's
good
right.
with
Our
that.
shows have a beautiful dining experience before every show.
Yes, we do. Yes, and that, Angie, you want to tell everybody where the show is going to be performed
Why,
exactly
certainly.
and how to get tickets and all that good stuff?
Well, you can check us out on www.lctg.org. We are at Great Oaks, that's our venue. It used to be called the After 4 Club, now it's just Great Oaks Banquets. And it's in Cedar Lake, actually, before you get to Cedar Lake, straight down Highway 41, 4 miles exactly, straight south of the last stoplight in St. John, where the Strags and the Target are. So we're Tom used to say we're the best kept secret in Lake County, and we're hard to find, but worth the effort.
Oh,
And other people
way
have
worth
said,
the effort.
come for the chicken and stay for the show. But that's where we are, 4 miles south of St. John. The address, if anybody's camping this down, is 13109 South Wicker Avenue, but Wicker Avenue is Highway 41.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you just see the sign right there by is it the Moose or the
There's
Knights of Columbus or
Knights of
something? Knights
Columbus,
of Columbus,
yeah.
and you just turn down that road.
We
and
couldn't
there you
count on
are.
that moose to stay standing where he was. The
Wow.
moose just kept moving around. But the Knights of Columbus Hall is a permanent place.
Okay.
And it doesn't even look like a road or even an intersection, but there is one little green street sign that says 131st Avenue, and that's it.
Yeah, but there's a big sign that says Great Oaks.
Great Oaks Banquet Hall.
Yes.
Great Oaks Banquets, it's a red triangle at the top of the sign.
Yeah.
If it's
Put it
daytime,
in
you
your
won't see it.
GPS.
That's
Yeah,
right, you'll find it.
GPS is tricky to find though, because we're through the trees, down the hill, veer off to the right, and that's where.
Just as soon
Great
as you
Oaks
turn,
is.
keep going, you'll get there.
As you well know, you've done a couple of shows with us, my
Absolutely.
dear, thank God.
Yes, I'm very blessed.
Your little Hello Kitty card knows its way there.
It does. How much are tickets?
Now Jeep.
Yeah, okay,
And now
yeah.
the Jeep has a Hello Kitty.
Oh, you
sticker
have a
on it.
Jeep now?
Well, he's got a
You
Jeep.
have a Jeep.
He has
Yeah,
a
but
Jeep,
she
and now it
christened
has a
it.
little
You
Hello
have a
Kitty.
Hello Kitty Jeep.
Yes.
Oh, Bill, that's so
Isn't he
sweet.
lucky?
Well,
I'm real lucky.
usually our tickets for a 3 entree, all you can eat, sit down dinner, served family style for our usual shows. Those tickets are usually $35 for adults. That includes the food and the show, and $33 for seniors age 60 or older, $28 for kids up to age 13. But for this, Tom's giving us a little special deal for the buffet, 2 entrees, all you can eat really. You serve yourself this
Sure.
time. And all tickets are $28 instead of $35, $33.
That's such a
But
bargain.
if people come to both shows, we're gonna make it all tickets $25,
Woo.
just as a little incentive. And we have a lot of tickets available, and we've been advertising it off and on all summer with both our Once on This Island shows and then our Godspell shows, and our own ads for just Randy and Woody and Pete, the 3 amazing performers that
That's
are gonna be
right.
there
Exactly.
for those shows. And so that's it. Any questions, you can dial or text Angie, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
219-776-0888. Just put me in your contacts and text me away, and we'll hold your tickets for you. The buffets for Thursday, Friday, Saturday are 6:30, followed by an 8 o'clock show. And the Sunday is a 12:30 buffet, followed by the 2 o'clock show. So Wednesday, Thursday, Woody Guthrie and Randy Noojin. And Thursday, Friday, let's reiterate. Thursday, Friday, Woody Guthrie. And Saturday and Sunday afternoon, Pete Seeger and Randy Noojin.
That's right.
And he changes completely.
And let me tell you, that price is,
Can't beat it.
that's
It's
cheap
quick.
just for the show.
Yeah, it
And when
is.
you add a meal
Mhm.
and a show with Randy,
Yeah.
hello.
Especially the great food that Tom McGann,
Oh, yes.
our generous benefactor, serves. Yes.
Exactly.
And they're only 85 minutes long too, so
Yeah.
there's no intermission, 85 minutes. It's a quick injection of activism
It's
and
wonderful.
history.
I love it.
And they're just darn good. And this young man, I don't have to brag because it's just totally fact. I'm just reporting. He puts his whole heart and soul into what he does. He
Yes.
always has.
Well, I know he's also a playwright
He is
for
that.
other people too, and
He
one
is
of
that.
his plays called Unbeatable Harold was actually a feature film starring Dylan McDermott and Charles Durning, and that's so exciting, and you can actually get it on Amazon, guys. So I suggest you go get that.
So far, that's the only show of Randy's we've done, and we did it way back in the late '80s. Unbeatable Harold,
Yes.
amazing piece.
So look
But we'd
that
love
up.
to do a show of his called Boaz. A
Mhm.
wonderful show. I can't wait to get the right combination.
Yes, he's an amazing award-winning actor. He's a playwright. He's a singer. He's a teacher. He does it all.
Yes.
Can you grew up in where? Dyer, St. John,
Cherville.
Cherville?
Mhm.
Okay. And then,
My dad was a steel worker,
okay.
a union steel worker, and he could pay my college, so
That's
the union really helped him. And I went to school at Lake Central, and I had a younger brother who also went there. And yeah,
And then at ISU, you knew Gary and Lowe.
Oh, sure.
Obviously.
Oh, you know that?
Callie knows
I do
everyone.
know who they are, yes.
I lucked out there too. They were both incredible teachers. There was just a memorial for Gary.
Yes, I was down there. That's
Oh,
why
you
I
were?
was just gonna say, I was down there.
I'm sorry I missed that.
Callie was-
My plane was canceled.
One of my dear friends is an ISU graduate. Her name then was Karen Sternberg, and her husband is Dave McKinney, and they were 2 years ahead of you.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so I was down there with Karen, and because she flew in.
And Lou is a treasure too.
Oh, I love him. We're
Yeah.
Facebook friends now. So
We got to we
I'm
were
hoping-
before Gary and Diana.
Yeah,
Russ
and I'm
both
hoping to go
overseas.
down there actually this coming spring and do my one-woman show for the
Oh.
students. So I'm really knock on wood that happens. So
Julia Marlowe.
yeah,
is
it's
her
an
one-woman
evening with
show.
Julia Marlowe.
It's amazing.
I've been
It's
there.
really
It is.
amazing.
It is truly
Okay.
amazing.
Well, I'm really looking for
Well,
that.
I would love to hear some music from
Okay.
you if that's possible.
I'll do a little piece of the Woody Guthrie show. He's introducing himself to the union guys here. Let's see, tell about myself. Well, I never drink anything stronger than water for a chaser. I never spend my money foolish, unless I'm by myself or with somebody. I like poor people, because they'll come out winner in the long run. And I like rich people, because they need friendship. I play the guitar, and I'm what is known as a magical singer, inasmuch as I fool the audience completely. I keep them wondering all during the show why the devil they bought a ticket. I suffered for my art, now it's your turn. Now, if anybody wants to hire me, I am available. And if you're afraid I won't go over in your lodge or party, you're possibly right. And in such case, just mail me $15 and I won't come. Now when I do come, I cut it down to $10. I've been roaming around the country a few years, kind of a hobo music busker. Born the year that Woodrow Wilson was nominated to be the president. My mama and papa was so worked up in good and bad politics, they went and named me Woodrow Wilson too. I tried to talk them out of it. Woodrow Wilson Guthrie, which is too much of a name for a country boy, so I sawed off all the fancy work and just left Woody. I could remember that. Many a month has come and gone since I've wandered from my home in these Oklahoma hills where I was born. Many a page of life has turned, many a lesson I've learned, but I feel like in these hills I still belong. Sing it with me, way down yonder in the Indian Nation, riding my pony on the reservation in the Oklahoma hills where I was born. Way down yonder in the Indian Nation, the cowboy's life was my occupation in the Oklahoma hills where I was born. Now as I turn a life page in the land of the great old sage, these Oklahoma hills where I was born, where the black oil rolls and flows and the snow white cotton grows, these Oklahoma hills where I was born. I can't hear you. Way down yonder in the Indian Nation, riding my pony on the reservation in the Oklahoma hills where I was born. Way down yonder in the Indian Nation, the cowboy's life was my occupation in the Oklahoma hills where I was born. Good. You know, the Indians had been given the state of Oklahoma by United States treaties of all kinds, because they didn't figure that the land was good enough for anything else. Well, that sure changed the very minute they found out there was millions and millions of dollars worth of oil pools under every acre of land almost. The Indians had to get rooked and crooked out of it, and fast. under the greedy, slushy buckets of the rich oil companies. And then there was a boiling black hot fever hit our town. Brought with it several whole armies of hard-hitting men. Folks called them boom chasers, roustabout, cement men, carpenters, horse traders, pipe welders, mule skinners. We became one of the singingest, dancingest, drinkingest, yellingest, preachingest, bettingest, walkingest, talkingest, laughingest, cryingest, shootingest, fightingest, bleedingest, dyingest of all the ranch towns. You just sign a card and hit it hard. Help wanted, come and get you a job. Well, I've been working at Pittsburgh Steel, I thought you know. I've been dumping that red hot slag way down the road. I've been blasting, I've been firing, I've been pouring that red hot iron, and I've been having some hard traveling, Lord. Hey, I've been doing some hardcore mining, I thought you know. I've been leaning on a pressure drill way down in a hole. Hammer flying, air hose sucking, 6 foot of mud. Sure been a muckin', and I've been having some hard traveling, Lord. Harvesting, I thought you knowed. From North Dakota to Kansas City, way down the road. I've been cutting that wheat, stacking that hay, trying to make about $1 a day. And I've been having some hard traveling, Lord.
Woo! All right. Okay, seriously, $28 is worth just hearing that. Just going to hear that would be worth $28. That was phenomenal.
Wow.
Thank you. And there's visuals that go with that. I have a video of, hobos, mine workers. There's a lot of visual, and Woody's drawings plus newsreels from the time.
Right.
There's always something to look at when I'm singing.
I just
Well,
be
just
content to
looking at
watch
you
it,
watching
Randy.
you playing that and playing the harmonica and everything is like, whoa, that's.
There's
Yeah,
one thing he does.
Phenomenal is not even a good enough word for,
When
what that
Woody
is.
hops the trains and becomes a hobo on those boxcars, he does some narration, and it just drives me crazy in a wonderful way, because he's talking and singing the whole time, and there is no drum playing, but you hear the train, because you can hear the clickety-clack the way Randy plays it. It's just
Right.
killer. You can close your eyes and hear and see. It's just pretty amazing.
I love watching you because you are practically in tears.
Yeah.
Because I can tell, first of all, you love this guy. I mean, I know you love all of your former students. I think she knows the names of every kid she's ever taught.
And the
She
years
never,
she met
yes,
them.
and the years
Not
she met them, and
always.
what shows they were in, and what years those shows were, and
It's
everything.
a
But
brilliant mind, yeah.
isn't it lovely to just see somebody like this and know that you had a small part in that,
Well,
or a large part in that?
We had a
maybe?
part in an older day, but I didn't have anything to do with this, because this man,
Well, he had that talent to start
You know,
with, but
yeah,
you know
she
what I
opened
say?
the
it
door.
helped. Yes,
what I always say too
you
about
and boss.
he's still an LCTG kid. But what I always say about a talent like this is Papa may have and Mama may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, and Randy's got it.
Yes, he does. That's
Just a little
amazing.
proud.
Oh, just a little. Yeah, I can tell. Part of why I love you.
Okay.
You are so proud of your kids.
Yeah, no,
It's
she's-
just,
yeah.
That's the way I feel about you too.
Phenomenal.
Well, I feel like that. You're my big sister. You know
Okay,
that.
I'm good.
Okay.
We have a whole love fest going.
Yes,
I
am.
know. I always do. I love my theater
Come on
people,
down
but
to
I mean,
Great
Angie is like my big sister.
That's what it's like to work with them too.
Wow,
It's
it
full
is.
of
It's a family.
camaraderie and love, and it becomes a family. I know it's a cliche, but
But
it
it's very
does
true.
happen. They
Yeah.
make a family happen with every show.
They do.
And even though things aren't always easy and smooth with any family,
Right.
that's part of it.
But you
too.
still love
It's
each
all
other
part of it,
anyway.
yeah.
That's right.
We're all in it for the same purpose, to
Absolutely.
entertain the audience.
So I am a banjo freak.
Oh,
I
you're
love
gonna
it
love
so
this.
much.
No, good.
Yeah. I think that's my favorite part of Steve Martin. I mean, his comedy
Yeah,
is
I was
great
about
and
to say,
everything,
Steve
but boy,
Martin
his
is-
playing just, I love
And you
it.
can't be
Yeah.
sad when you hear banjo
No.
music. There's
Well,
nothing to it.
you can be scared if it's certain songs.
Well,
like
there are some
Deliverance or
minor
something.
songs.
Deliverance is scary, yes.
That could be a little scary, but no, normally it just gets your feet a tapping.
At White Pines, when you went to Callie did several shows for pay at White Pines with us. And the latest T-shirt I bought, I got one for Steve, was I hear banjo music. Hurry up, hike fast.
That's right.
Yeah, there are lots of banjo jokes in the Pete Seeger show.
Yes,
Oh, I
there
can
are.
imagine.
Funny.
Pete didn't tell banjo jokes really, but the show needs it.
Yeah. The audience loves them. They're
Oh, I
all
can
cool.
imagine.
Yeah. And
Deliverance have brought a scary meaning to the banjo.
That's
They
right.
did.
Just like Jaws brought a scary meaning to sharks.
Too.
But you know.
Well, actually, the kid in the movie was a Woods boy. The one kid who, with the teeth,
Oh yeah?
had a problem. And Ronnie Graham, who has also been a favorite of Callie's, she got to see
Oh,
him
Ronnie
do-
Cox,
Ronnie
yes,
Cox.
yes,
I always say
Ronnie
Ronnie
Cox.
Graham when I mean Ronnie Cox. Ronnie Cox was amazing in it. He appeared at Beatniks. Callie got to go see him. The
Yeah,
other
and
actor
at
is Ronnie
Westnick
Graham. My
Center.
brain goes
Yeah,
dead.
and at Westnick
But
Center, yeah. He's
starting to forget things.
phenomenal. Oh yeah, we need to do real quick a small station break,
Sure.
and then we'll come right back and hear some amazing banjo music.
Yes.
And by the way, we're borrowing music from Recovery Radio. I just want to mention.
Oh,
that.
okay, that's why
Yeah. We're gonna have to come up with.
we'll come up with our.
We're actually all in
Okay.
recovery. It's all
That's
good.
okay. Yeah. We live in America. We're all in recovery.
That was wonderful. I haven't heard it for a long time. I haven't heard it. And to watch you up this close. Because Paul and Randy have already been rehearsing a couple nights when I had to go to Genesius and do my
Right.
stupid Aunt Harriet.
And Harry.
Yeah, but
Well,
now we're back to Harriet.
we are back to
Are you gonna
Spotlight
stand up
on
for
the
this
Arts
one?
here at WVLP with our
Cushion?
wonderful guest, Randy
Cushion.
Noojin and the beautiful Angie Lowe. And Randy is going to play some music from the Pete Seeger Show right now for us.
Sure. This is a little excerpt from Seeger. Only a few years before Peekskill, our junior senator from Wisconsin, Joe McCarthy, and his House Un-American Activities Committee began compiling their blacklist of secret communists. Now, it was not illegal to be a member of the Communist Party. Our First Amendment guarantees the right to freedom of association. But it could put something like a trade embargo on your career, if you had one. And just as I had decided that I wanted my music to help the meek inherit the earth, we somehow got a song on the hit parade. We had formed a new quartet called the Weavers. It was Lee Hayes, Fred Hellerman, Ronnie Gilbert, and me. We surprised ourselves as well as everybody else by recording a Leadbelly song that sold 2 million copies. Sing with me, Irene, I can't hear you. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. We opened at the Village Vanguard Christmas week. Stayed in residence for 6 months. Tours took us to Hollywood, casinos in Vegas. We made as much as $4,000 a week. Last Saturday night I got married. Me and my wife settled down. Now me and my wife have parted. I'm gonna take another stroll in town. Say with me, Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you television show. The Three Stooges double-billed with us in Vegas. We churned out hit records of such subversive ditties as Whim Away and On Top of Old Smoky. One more time, Irene, good night. Sing out! Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you. Good night, Irene. That was a #1 song in America for 13 weeks in 1950. We certainly had a few seasons in the sun, but this all came to an abrupt end in 1952, when a gentleman named Harvey Matusow testified before the House Un-American Activities Committee that 3 of the Weavers, including me, were former members of the Communist Party. 3 years later, Matusow admitted to being a paid FBI informant and to lying to incriminate numerous people, ended up spending almost 3 years in prison on perjury charges, but nonetheless, his testimony was reported in the Associated Press. We were in the midst of a several-day engagement outside of Akron, Ohio, at the Yankee Inn. We came into the lobby and people were reading newspapers with the headline, "Weavers named Reds." The venue manager canceled our contract, effective immediately. Turns out he could get away with that. You know the difference between education and experience? Education is when you read the fine print. Experience is what you get when you don't. Hate mail started pouring in. Van Camp's Pork and Beans withdrew an offer to sponsor us on a television show. A booked appearance on Dave Garroway's morning show became mysteriously unbooked. Decca declined to renew our recording contract. El Bloqueo. Nobody tells you you're on the blacklist. But by the spring of 1953, work was so slow we took ourselves off the road for a sabbatical, which turned into a Mondacle and a Tuesdacle. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. A time to every purpose under heaven. Time to be born, time to die, time to plant, time to reap, time to kill, time to heal, time to laugh, a time to leave. Sing it with me now, sing out. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. A time to every purpose under heaven. Here's the verse my wife Toshi wrote. Time to cry and make a fuss. Time to leave and catch the bus. Time for dirt, time for soap. Time for tears, a time for hope. Sing it with me. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. A time to every purpose under heaven. Time to gain, time to lose, time to rend, a time to soar, a time for love, time for hate, time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. A time to every purpose under heaven.
Oh my goodness, I love that song so much, and it brings back so many Girl Scout camp memories.
Yeah.
I'm singing that around the
She
campfire.
just went to a big
I
Girl
did. I
Scout
just went to my
reunion.
camp to Kanye
Several
every
times.
year
Oh, really?
with all my
Margot
former Girl
Kwiatkowski was
Scouters.
with
Yeah,
her.
Margot
In
Kwiatkowski.
the-
and yeah,
Oh,
She was
really?
in your
yeah,
class.
absolutely. We Girl Scouts are pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
Gosh.
what are you doing after this? I mean, it's like,
I am about ready to look at another solo show.
Oh, yes.
I would like to write a play. I wish there was one that would just pop right out of my head, but I'm looking at Carl Sandburg. I'm starting to read his bio and autobio and his poetry, and a lot of people don't know that he played the guitar, and
really?
he
A lot of people do.
he compiled a book called The American Song Bag, and it was all these folk songs that he would play, and he's even recorded. There's some recordings of him playing it, and it's songs like Erie Canal. There's a song about a mule. I can't think of the name of it, but I'm just starting to research on that. And it's very fun to look at a character. I just spent 2 months on Joe Hill. I don't know if you know Joe Hill.
I do know who he is.
You know, we know him mostly from the Joan Baez version of
Right.
I Dreamed I Saw Joe Hill Last Night. But Joe Hill was also a Union martyr. He was a copper miner in Utah, and they pinned a murder on him. And he wrote so many songs for the Little Red Songbook that was used in the teens, 1914 through the teens, and he died in front of a firing squad for a murder he didn't commit because they just hated the union. You know, the corporations then, they just hated organized people who wanted fair labor. They just were so greedy. They didn't want, you know, to pay they didn't want a living wage for their workers. So Joe Hill is you know, people have forgotten him. But, you know, he was called the man who never died because they keep talking about him, and yet we have kind of stopped talking about him. So Joe Hill would be a good subject.
Absolutely.
But his songs, you know, I'm afraid people won't come because they won't know who he is. With Woody and Seeger, people have heard of him and they'll come because of the name. You know, it's not Randy Noojin they come to see. They come to see this great American. And
But it wouldn't be as good if it wasn't Randy
It
Nugent
wouldn't.
doing it.
I can tell you.
you
So-
know, I try to do my best to live up to those guys. But
Yes.
so it's fun. I don't know if Sandberg will pan out either. I'm going to read everything and just see if it catches.
Randy, it will.
Well, yeah, it could.
And people
It
need
could.
to know he was a guitar player.
He's I work a lot in Asheville, North Carolina. There's a repertory theater there, Southern Appalachian Repertory Theater, that I've been working at for 35 years. It's a little like Angie and Paul's theater. They're a family too that I've been, you know, for 35 years
Right,
going
blessed to
there.
be a part of.
Yeah, I've done both of these shows there. And Sandberg lived in Flat Rock, North Carolina. I know you put up a sign that says Sandberg Solo Show, you're gonna fill the house because
Absolutely.
he was beloved. And he's easy to look like, too. He looked like he was wearing a wig. White, totally
The
white hair.
hair.
And it was kind of shaggy. I think I could get a wig that would just give me the silhouette, and people would say, oh, that must be Carl Sandburg. You got to look a little bit like these people. For
His
Seeger,
Seeger
for
wig
instance,
is, his Seeger beard is amazing.
I got
It's
a
just so-
Hollywood quality, movie quality beard designed for me to look like Pete Seeger.
Well, if people can believe Mark McCulley is Orville
Orville
Redenbacher, just with
That's
the
right.
suspenders and the bow tie,
I
then you
saw
can
Mark
definitely.
McCulley.
One little emblematic thing
That's
can
right,
do
you
it
know,
all.
just one thing that
And
really
his
just
little
kind
wig
of,
helped
yeah.
too. We love
Yeah.
Mark. Oh,
That's
And
great.
Sandberg is also has Chicago roots too.
Oh, yes.
And he was from Illinois. So he has a lot of appeal for both my families.
Right,
where
absolutely.
He might be of interest to a lot of those people. And he was a journalist, which I love. Journalists are, I kind of wish I had taken that path sometimes.
Well, journalists are artists as well, so,
Absolutely.
you know, they paint with words and,
And they're facts. And,
yes,
yeah.
excellent.
and the truth is the truth.
Yes.
The truth is the truth.
And a lie is a
I-
lie.
Randy,
The
Randy
new
and I-
phrase of our time.
Randy and I know we are like this with our politics.
Oh,
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I'm kind of right in there with
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
That will go down for the ages.
Oh,
Yes,
my God.
exactly. There's
Truth
gonna be
isn't
memes
the
all over the place for that one. And jokes and stuff. All right, so will you be taking this, the Woody Guthrie and the Pete Seeger things to other places too? Or are you
Sure.
still gonna be touring with that?
Yeah,
some
I
dates
have a fundraiser to play in New Jersey next, and I'm playing in San Diego, and I do all my own booking. But if anybody's interested, I do have websites.
That's what I was just gonna say, if people are interested to see where you're going to be performing
Yeah.
next, or how to get in touch with you if they wanted to have you
Sure.
come out and perform, how do they do that?
Hard Travelin Show, no G on the traveling.
Traveling about
hardtravelinshow.com or seegershow.com
Okay.
will get you to my sites. Even randynoojin.com will probably eventually get you to
Well,
those
I know
shows.
you can just Randy Noojin and you pop up on,
Right.
on
Oh, good.
Google,
It's
super
probably,
fast.
it's probably an easy way to find it.
Yes.
As long as
Okay.
you spell it Noojin.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And Angie,
Yes.
tell us about what's coming up with you. I wanna
Well,
know what's going on with
our next-
our local theater here.
Our next 4 nights are devoted to Randy
Of
and
course.
Woody and Pete, and we really would love to get some bigger turnout because this man deserves to be heard.
Yes.
All 3 men deserve to be heard. But then after that, next week we'll jump into Wednesday, Thursday night, August 29, 30 auditions for our next show. It is Larry Shue's The Nerd. It's a show we've done before, and it's amazing, fun little sweet show with a lot of sight gags, a lot of comical sight gags. And that's coming up. The show dates will be in October. And then we don't know what's next. We really don't. But I personally am playing a little tiny silly
Yes, tell us
part,
about a show
silly
that you're
part.
in at another
Yeah.
theater.
And I called Genesius Guild my theater home away from home. It's changing a lot now since we lost Larry, of course.
Of course, and
That was a
Ed
terrible
and
loss,
everything.
Ed, yeah. But Dan Ball's the new president. He's trying to take him in a new, kind of new, what do I wanna say, format, direction, and keep it up going. And so we were glad that we amassed the cast for this show, cause there's a lot of people in it.
Yeah, it is.
And I
It's
get
a
to
great
play
show.
one tiny little role.
What is this show that you're talking about?
It
by
is
way?
the show called, and a show we did in '95 called The Man Who Came to Dinner.
See how she knows the year and everything that she did?
Yeah.
In '95, we
Yeah.
did.
Actually, I lied, it was the fall of '93, I
Oh,
fixed
well,
that
there you
back
go.
up. It was because Utesh was a senior and he played the part.
Ah,
Crazy
my friend
Utesh,
Jason.
everybody's friend Jason,
Of course.
and he's a good realtor as well.
Yes, he is.
As is his friend Jason Moon. We just bought a house and sold a house for
Self-plug
Jason.
there.
Yeah, a little plug for the Jasons.
For the Jason.
They're also LCTG grads,
Of
class of
course, yeah.
'94. But so, fall of '93 we did it, and it's fun. John Fetch was our Mr. Stanley, and he's playing Mr. Stanley again at
The Man Who
Genesis
Came
Guild.
to Dinner, I
The
believe.
Man Who Came
Yes.
to Dinner. No, he is playing Mr. Stanley, whose house gets raided by the Man Who Came to Dinner,
Aha.
played by Dean Johansson.
Okay.
So I get to play Harriet Stanley, and Sheridan Whiteside thinks he knows me, and he finally, I'm not gonna give it away, so he finally realizes who I am. So I'm Crazy Aunt Harriet. I'm in and out 4 times. I'm having trouble memorizing 4 sets of lines, but anyway, that's a silly show coming up September 21. We open for 2 weekends
And
at
that's at
Genesius,
Genesius, which is
Guild.
in Hammond.
Hammond, 3365 Holman.
Right.
That's
which
why Larry
you'll find
Hankins'
it.
phone number was 3365.
Oh, my
That's how I
goodness.
know the address. But
And that's at the First United Methodist
First
Church
United
is where
Methodist
Genesius
Church.
Guild's theater
correct,
is.
correct. A lot of good people are in it.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good
great
people. Many of
in
whom
that
have worked
group.
with us,
Yes.
and many of them I would love to work with in the future.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
That's
that's gonna
coming
be a
up.
lot of fun, and I know I've spoken with Dan, and we're hoping to get a couple of the people from the show on
Right,
here, and,
right.
or we might come out there and video some stuff to
Do
put up
something
on
out there,
whatever, but yeah, we're excited about that show
That's
coming
great.
up as well.
Right.
And
I've
then, again, you said auditions for your
Auditions for our
upcoming-
show
for the nerd
next
is,
next Wednesday, Thursday, August 29 and 30, 7 to 9 at LCTG, L'Arc-en-Ciel at Great Oaks. 7 to 9 auditions, and then the show's in October, open October 19 and then 21. We're dark for the gala on that Saturday the 20th.
right.
And then,
October.
again, I don't know what else is coming up next for us because we plan as we go.
That's right, that's okay.
Yeah, one day at a time.
That's right. And for anybody who wants more information about the auditions coming up or any other auditions or shows that you want to see, go to NIETF, that's NETF, which stands for Northwest Indiana Excellence in Theater Foundation, NETF.org. It'll take you to all the different theaters. There are 19 theaters that are a part of NETF, and you can go on there, you can look up different shows, if you want to get involved with auditions, if you don't want to be on stage but want to be involved with costumes or stage manager or helping build sets,
Absolutely.
please go on there. We're always looking for people to come out and be a part of this wonderful community called community theater.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Um,
And by the way, Nita, I'm a little plug here,
Oh,
was
yeah.
co-founded by one of our other grads,
oh, okay.
83 grad Kevin Bellamy. He and his
Oh.
partner Jeff Casey co-founded the
Oh, that's right.
NEDF, and then now they
Now
are
they run
busy
the
with the Toll Theater.
right
and
there in Hammond.
two of our young ladies who were in Once on This Island are now doing Carrie, the musical.
Oh,
I wish I could see it, but
that's
all of our show dates jive with that, so I
yeah.
can't get to see
Well,
it.
there's another show. Yeah, there's also a lot of amazing theaters out there that aren't a part of NEDA.
That's right.
So just do some Googling, look for some theaters, because I'm telling you right now, you can get some amazing theater experiences in Northwest Indiana. You don't have to spend all that. I mean, going to Chicago, that's not a bad thing,
No,
but you can see some amazing talent
absolutely.
without dealing with that drive, without dealing with the cost of the parking and everything else right here in Northwest Indiana. And I implore all of you to go out and see that, and especially tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, to
Yeah,
get out
Larkin
to Larkin Seal Theater, which is at Great Oaks Banquet Hall in Cedar Lake, to see the amazing and talented Randy Noojin do his performances. Again, Angie, how do they get tickets?
Well, you can text me at 219-776-0888, or you can call the theater 219-374-8000. That's one way. Otherwise, I think that's about it for our tickets. But NEDF.org for sure, NIETF.org.
All right, and
Also
you can find the
has
link there.
All the links there too.
Perfect, and again, it's.
Ours is lctg.org, a little, it needs a lot of updating, but our
Oh,
little
that's
modest
okay.
little
You
website.
can go on there and still see pictures of me and
You
shows.
should.
That's
Because I have not been able, they're still there on the
They are
homepage.
still there, that's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I love it. I get to go on there and relive all my little memories of different shows I've done there with you and stuff.
I hope there'll be some more.
That's right, and go for the chicken and stay for
Stay
the
for the
show.
show.
Tom's amazing famous chicken.
And I'm gonna put a plug in for the pies.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
on Wednesday nights.
On Wednesday nights, they have that all you can eat, it's open to the public,
Yeah,
the
it's
only
open to
night
the
is
public
open.
on Wednesday nights.
Wednesday, every Wednesday, 4 to 8 p.m. All the chicken and or fish or combo thereof, and you can eat, and also they have
And
shrimp.
their famous slaw.
And their famous slaw.
Oh, yes.
The slaw is to die for.
Yes.
And then a Catholic, Polish Catholic church, John and his wife Kathy and the Polish Catholic Church have every Wednesday night their
Amazingly
amazing
delicious.
desserts, all homemade, beautiful
pies
desserts.
and cakes and everything. And
Sinfully
you can get,
delicious.
And they are sinfully
Yeah.
delicious. So
You guys
go
are
out for
making
that.
me hungry.
Yeah.
I
I'm
know.
going for lunch.
I know.
Drooling,
What's for
too.
lunch?
Right.
Great. So everybody come out and please come out and see Randy in this show. It's your opportunity to see an amazingly talented professional actor and a local boy,
Yeah.
a Cherville boy, a Lake Central grad, an Indiana State University Sycamore,
Sycamore.
perform
Brother.
these great things. Any last words, Randy, that you want to share with anybody?
It's just a thrill to be working with Paul and Angie again.
Well,
just,
yes.
It's really a full circle. Feels like a full circle. And having a 40th year high school reunion, it kind of feels really edifying and completing.
Yeah.
somehow.
I'll bet.
Hard to believe he was only 8 when he graduated from high
Why,
school.
obviously. Because there's no way he's that
Don't
age.
do the math, anybody.
None of us are.
Yeah, this is our 52nd year of theater.
I know it is.
I can't believe I've been saying that. 52nd year of theater director.
Yeah,
38 at Lake Central,
Yeah.
14 at Great Oaks.
Paul and Angie Lowe, the dynamic duo.
Legends in our own minds.
And in our own times, you know that's true. Well, that is our show for today, everybody. I would like to thank Paul and Angie Lowe, who are amazing, and Angie for coming out here and helping me with my spotlight on the art show, and for Randy for coming out
Thank
here
you,
and
Carrie.
performing
Appreciate
for
it.
us. Please get out there, enjoy some local theater. Have a wonderful weekend. It's going to be phenomenally beautiful this weekend, so get out and enjoy some stuff, and then in the evening, go see a show.
Yeah.
And I thank you, and from Bill and myself, have a great night. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Honey, thank you. I hope that, and now,
Good show.
this is gonna get rebroadcast then on
It'll be rebroadcast as well as we will put it up on our website so people can go.
WVLP?
WVLP and the Bill and Callie Show.
And the
It'll
Bill
be
and
on
Callie.
it'll be on our
Good.
site so people will watch it, and I'm gonna post on there. I'll
Cool.
share the post and
Cool.
everything so people will get the word out, and
Put a link up and everything.
yeah, we'll do
Good.
all kinds of stuff to get
Thank
the
you.
word out.
Wow.
It's
Isn't
phenomenal.
he amazing? Doesn't he kill you? He's
It's
just,
like if I closed my eyes, I wouldn't even know it was him. I would think I was listening to an album.
he's just
Album. That's how old I am.
amazing. Right.
A
What is
CD
vinyl? I
or
don't
an
need- I don't know what
EP
vinyl
or
is.
whatever those things are.
To
now
me,
that they have.
vinyl is cheap leather, so.
Yeah.
Vinyl? Who knows? Album, to me.
Yeah, an LP.
He's, we're totally off, right?
Oh yeah, we're off.
When he was here in October 2012, Riley and I, you knew Riley. Riley sat in the front row with Mickey, watching Randy, the same way I saw Riley when he was in the 6th and 7th grade, watching Randy in high school.
Right.
Randy was in high school. And that was when Strictly Sets Around. Oh my God, Alma.
Yeah.
And, well, stop. He had one shot that was implemented, but he was driving here, which is why Paul was in the house.
Yeah.
5 years. This summer. And the night he died was the actual anniversary, the same